Sports and life in general is all about predictions. We love trying to predict how our favorite team's gonna do or our favorite player. It doesn't just stop there. I could go on, and for example, that's why people love betting on their teams, because they like to predict the future. Anyways, you get the point. Predictions, hot takes, or whatever you want to call them, you gotta admit they're interesting to talk about. And that's exactly what we're gonna do in today's video, and I'm gonna give you 5 crazy predictions about players in high school basketball. What's good, y'all? Hope you're having a blessed day. Just want to drop by and say we're on the road to 100K, so if you're new to this channel, love basketball content, what are you doing? Join the family. Hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more, and without further ado, let's dive straight into the video. These 5 predictions I have, they're in no certain order, so let's get started with the first one. Also too, before I get into it, I didn't want to make slightly bold predictions, I wanted to make some serious hot takes. My hot take / prediction, whatever you want to call it, number 1 is that Mikey Williams falls off and does not live up to the hype. When I say falling off, I really mean falling off by not even getting drafted by an NBA team. It makes more sense than you think, and I'm going to explain why. We see it all the time, especially in high school basketball, where these young talented stars reach their peak way too early. There's so many players I can list and name off. Most of them were famous on Ball is Life, but the most recent one was Julian Newman. He's a perfect example of a kid who reached his peak way too early and he just never got better. I could really see the same thing happening to Mikey. His freshman year of high school basketball could have been his peak because honestly he was so good, I don't know how he could get any better. His freshman year of high school basketball was so good. He averaged 30 points per game and he looked like he couldn't get any better. Yeah, he could work on his shooting and fundamentals, but when you're averaging 30 as a freshman, there's not too much to critique. Now, flash forward in time, he's in 10th grade and his average has dropped down to almost 20 points per game. That freakishly athletic ability he had in middle school and 9th grade, it was above his competition, but when he gets older, his competition is going to get older and catch up to him. We could really see a slow and stagnant track for the last 2 years of his high school career. His freshman year, he averaged 30 per game like I said. His sophomore year right now, it looks like he's going to average 20, and his junior and senior season, if it stays the same, it's not going to be good for him. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he has decent junior and senior seasons, and he's not good enough to go to the NBA, but he goes to college or the G League or overseas. Unless he hits a crazy growth spurt, he's not going to be above 6'6" or 6'7". So therefore, he's not going to be a dominant player in college or the NBA attacking the rim because he's not going to be as tall. He'll still get his buckets here and there, but not like he was doing in high school. Also, this needs to be said, shooting isn't his strong suit, and that's the way the NBA is going. You gotta shoot the 3 ball. Unless he goes crazy in his junior and senior season, he's not gonna go to the NBA right away. Either 2 things are gonna happen. He's gonna go to the G League or he's gonna go to a college. If he goes to a college, I could really see him struggling and barely making it to the NBA. For the G League, it's vice versa. I could say the exact same thing. I hate to say it, but he might have peaked too early and he might just fall off even harder than what some people think. Hot take / prediction number 2. JD Davidson becomes the next great star in the NBA. Most of us know who this guy is. He's one of the most explosive and exciting players in high school basketball in general. He gets a ton of hype, so I can't say he's underhyped, but it still seems like he's not getting enough credit where it's due. Every year he gets better and better, and you didn't even think it was possible. For his junior season, he averaged 33 points per game in high school, and he's on pace to average almost a 40-piece this year. People are talking about him, but at the same time they're not. Most people don't know that he has a higher vertical leap than Zion Williamson, and he's also a lethal 3-point shooter. He doesn't shoot a lot of threes in high school, but he doesn't have to because he can get to the rim when he wants. He's almost the perfect prospect for the NBA, has a huge vertical, super athletic, and can shoot. Normally it's one way or the other, either they're super athletic or they can just shoot, but he's both. Currently he's committed and signed with Alabama, and he's more than likely going to be a one and done there, and I could see him being a lottery pick. It doesn't just stop there though. After he's a lottery pick, I could see him being an all-star caliber player. It's not just hype with JD, it's real, so you better believe in it. Not too much more to say about that one, so let's get into prediction number 3. Hot take number 3. Bronny James actually lives up to the hype and expectations. This is a pretty interesting topic when you think about it because it's almost 50-50. Half people think he's not going to be as good as people think he will be, and then the other half think he could live up to it. Bronny could live up to this hype, and here's how. He's really laying low right now and staying under the radar, and that's a good thing. It doesn't matter how good of a player he is, at the end of the day, if he wants to get to the NBA, he's going to make it just because of LeBron. Right now, he's roughly 6'3", 6'4", and he gets bigger and stronger every time we see him. His three-point shot got better this year, his passing ability continues to improve, and he's beginning to be a great playmaker as well. Here's the thing with Bronny. He's not going to put up 30 points a game in high school. One, because he's not that type of player, and two, the team he's playing with, there's so many stars. There's just something about him though, the way he moves on the court and plays, I could see him being a very valuable player at the college or NBA level. Keep this in mind, we haven't even got to see him go off or the coach hand him the keys to the offense just yet. He's more like LeBron than we think. Just like LeBron early in his career, people were raving on him for not taking over games. Bronny's doing the same thing in high school. He's kind of shy. Once Bronny gets that dog mentality in him and starts to take over and produce a ton of points, I think he's capable of being the next great star. I could see Bronny easily living up to this hype, and there's one thing for sure, you never doubt a James kid, that's all I'm gonna say. Prediction number 4 and hot take number 4, we got Imani Batts fails to live up to his potential. This is going to be a controversial and interesting one as well because Imani's been the #1 player for what, like 4 to 5 years now? People think he's the best player in the world regardless of class and that whole debate, but we're not going to get into that. This one's going to be somewhat similar to Mikey's because Imani peaked and got so good at a very young age. As he gets older though, his points per game don't really go up and his competition is just catching up to him. Does he have the perfect ideal body build for the NBA? No, but neither did Kevin Durant, and look how he's doing. When it's all said and done for his high school career, I think Imani will be a one and done no matter what he chooses, and he will make it to the NBA, but this is where he's going to fall off, at least in my take. He's been dominating his entire life, but once he gets to the NBA, it's not going to be the same and it's not going to be as sweet for him. I think Imani is a great player when he's not playing great talent, but this year we saw it when he played up against good talent, also known as Chet Holmgren. He kind of crumbled under the pressure. If you saw some of his games on TV earlier in this year, and not just the highlights, you'll also know what I'm about to say. He makes shots when he's open, but when you put someone in his face, he takes terrible shots, and he even airballed 3 in one game. I understand airballs happen, and it's not really the airballs, but him just missing the shots in general. When you put someone of his size on him, he really struggles to score. We don't really see that a lot in high school though, because no one his size and no one can guard him. The NBA, it's a different breed though, and everyone there will be able to guard him, so I just think he won't live up to it. He's going to be okay, and like I said, I think he'll make it to the league, but I think at max he's only going to be an above average player. Last but not least, prediction / hot take number 5, we got Skye Clark becomes the next Kyrie. Out of all the guys we covered on this list, this is the least most popular one. Skye has been on a tear for high school basketball for a couple of years now, and he's really starting to make a name for himself. Most people don't talk about him in hype wise and on Ball's Life because he's not super athletic, he's not going to make a lot of crazy plays and dunks, he's just going to get you a bucket and go back down the court. When I see him play, I see a lot of Kyrie Irving in him, especially a young Kyrie. Super, and I mean super smooth player out there, and I cannot stress that enough, and it looks effortless to him. I said he wasn't super athletic, but that doesn't mean he's not semi-athletic like Kyrie. He's athletic enough to do dunks here and there and stuff like that. Also a very humble and genuine dude. He'll give you a 35 piece and tell you how good you played after the game. Also too, I can't forget to mention, he's one of the best shooters in the country, especially for a point guard. You get the point, he's a smooth player and that's all there is to it. I could easily see him dominating in college, being that one and done player, averaging 20-25 points per game, 7 assists, and being a lottery pick. After he's a lottery pick, it doesn't stop there. I think he'll take over the league by storm. He's going to be a very reliable point guard, not going to lose you any games, but he will win you some. I don't think he'll be an all-star in his first or second year, but by that 3rd or 4th year, I think that's when everything will come through. Keep your eyes open for Skye Clark because I definitely think he's got next. Those are my 5 predictions for high school players. Let me know if you want to see a part 2, but hey man, with all this being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family. Hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.